Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Preferred Lies. I'm Jay Coffin, joined this time by CBSSports.com senior writer Steve Elling and Golfweek deputy editor Jeff Babineau. Now, a year ago this time, we were talking about the Tour Championship. There was no Tiger and there was no Phil. Well, Steve, there's still no Tiger and there's still no Phil.
We're heading into Disney Week, and there's nobody in the top 20 in the world rankings playing, even though it seems like two-thirds of those guys live within 15 minutes of Disney. Yeah, it's a totally different animal this year, and I'll say this for the PGA Tour, it's basically been exactly what we expected it to be, which is a chance for the second and third tier players to breathe some oxygen into their flagging money list status, but beyond that, it's been not the most compelling run, and that's even with some pretty well-known winners.
But, I think a year ago we had definitely a dud at the finish at the Tour Championship. That was supposed to be the crescendo and everything. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone promised that this finish was going to be anything great.
Right.
I mean, it has fizzled. It's been to borrow the great words of Tiger Woods, it is what it is. And it's, these guys making a run. It's basically a 7-week Q school where you can wrap up your card. I mean, for a Chad Campbell or Justin Leonard or George McNeil that got a victory in this stretch, huge. That's big time stuff.
Weir.
Get Mike Weir, getting your confidence back. But I don't think we ever thought we were going to finish with a bang. It's been pretty disappointing. I think we all thought, VJ will still play,
sure,
and these guys will show up and play. Davis Love was going to play 4 of these events, and maybe Tiger might make the 5-minute drive down to Disney and even play. But it just hadn't happened. So we got our big finish with the playoffs. That was the intention there, and I think overall it worked all right.
So how do we take what happened this year and put that information into the computer and make it better?
Boy, I don't know.
I mean, everything. FedEx, the whole end of the season, not just this, the whole FedEx Cup playoffs. How do we make these last 2 months better?
Well, they're talking about tweaking the Tour Championship and moving it back a week to give the varsity guys a week off so they don't have to play. Jeff, what would the number be? However, 5 out of 6 or whatever.
Even stretch it along in that, yeah.
So play the 3 FedEx Cup events, and Joe Durant, who's on the policy board last week, said they may even have a dark week there with no tournament and then play the Tour Championship and then start the fall series.
Yeah, what they're going to look at next week is playing the first 2 events, week off, playing the BMW, your third playoff event, playing the Ryder Cup, and playing the Tour on the back end of the Ryder Cup. And I mean, I think to try right now what we have is guys would be asked to play 5 in a row, the 5th week being the Ryder Cup. And that's just got disaster written all over.
Well, before that's the PGA Championship. I mean, it's sort of
and then as you extend the window out, it's crazy. Yeah, these guys just aren't trained to play that much golf in that smaller window. The Tour knew that going in. They still have this schedule, and it's definitely being looked at, and it looks like it's going to change.
What do you think happens 5 years from now when these TV contracts and contracts with these title sponsors expire? I mean, you were down at the inaugural GIN tournament last week, as was I, in Port St. Lucie down south of us here. Are these guys getting the bang for their buck on this?
No way.
Nobody's showing up.
No, nobody's showing. What did we say? The numbers at Vegas were anywhere from 11,000 to 15,000 fans for the week. Now, that's a tough sports town. That's a transient sports town where everyone's traveling there to gamble. But that's those were $5 tickets.
Yeah,
this week at Disney, it's going to be. I think we're not going to see much for crowds at all.
What's the point?
This is a place where we had Tiger Woods and Payne Stewart facing off, and a lot of great players come through here through the years. And who's your attraction this week?
Stewart Sink.
He's the highest ranked player.
I mean, no one's going to really move the needle out there. So
what is the point?
The question to me is, I mean, it's a miracle up there at Ponte Vedra that they have 7 guys willing to sign up for these, because I don't really see what you get in this stretch. The Valero Texas Open, a tournament with that much history, the Texas Open, and I think it raised a number $8 million for charity, which is incredible. Just got absolutely no media coverage at all. The state papers don't even cover it. So
last week, the GIN tournament, which is 100 miles north, maybe max from downtown Miami. Miami didn't cover the tournament. Fort Lauderdale didn't cover the tournament. And in Sunday's paper, there were 27 words out of a Wire story.
Did you sit there and count them?
The AP guy did behind me, because he was the one who wrote all 27 words. 27 very good words, as he said. Very succinct.
Hope he gets paid by the word.
I just wonder if in the final analysis, if there's been a lot of hue and cry among the everymen. Daniel Chopra, who won yesterday, and Steve Flesh, who's won twice, about what the tour can do to fix these on the back end because the sponsors are not getting their money's worth. I would postulate this to you. Is it enough of a reason to have 7 fall series events just to give the rank and file a chance to keep their cards, or do you just knock it down to 100 guys, keep their cards?
Well, maybe, but I think you do. As a PGA Tour, you have to represent everybody. You're going to represent the 150 guy as much as Tiger Woods, and so many opportunities during the season are limited field events, the World Golf Championships, these invitationals. I think this was the tour's way to appease these guys. Right. Give them spots at the end. I mean, no one's crying about not getting into fields. Gary Hallberg got into last week's field. Donnie Hammond, who's on the Champions Tour, could have played last week. So there's no guys being frozen out of these. You have your opportunity to make your money, or you show up at Q School, and that's the deal.
I guess as long as you've got fully funded, sponsored PGA Tour events, the tour, why would you want to say no? So there's going to be a little money for charity, and some of these communities are going to be, we'll receive them warmly. Some of them will be more indifferent, but like the Phoenix tournament, they had 30,000 for the week. They get 100,000 for a day during Super Bowl week for the FBR. So is it on anybody's radar screen? Well, maybe these guys between like 100 and 150 on the money list, and their families.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see what happens over the next 4 or 5 years. Now, the PGA Tour season might be done, but the season never ends for us. So join us on Golfweek.com's discussion boards. We want to hear from you. That wraps it up for this edition of Preferred Lies. For Steve Elling and Jeff Babineau, I'm Jay Coffin. We'll see you next time. Thanks for checking us out on YouTube. We may not be nearly as exciting as Trinity College and their 15 laterals, but we're pretty damn cool. So if you want more of this, check us out on Golfweek.com.